Hey folks, this is Billy Decay, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. Today we're going to be talking about pain, decay, and death. Pain is trying to teach you something. It's trying to teach you to quit doing whatever it is you're doing that's causing the pain. And then once you quit doing it, if you're still experiencing the pain, it's then the next process is to mentally cope with the pain. It's not to go run into the medicine cabinet every time you experience the most mild pain. Learn to experience pain. Am I saying never take medicines? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying less is more. If you're taking a bunch of medication, always seek to take less. Let your body cope. I'm not saying you can't use it temporarily, but I'm saying you should be focusing on lessening your medications, not getting more dependent. You don't want to use medicines as a crutch for you avoiding reality. Don't do it. Stay away from it. There's a book out there called The Gift of Pain, and it talks about some of the bad things that happens when you don't experience pain. And the leopards, they don't experience pain, and one of the things that happens to them is while they're sleeping at night, mice will come up and like eat off their ear and nose, and they won't wake up because they're not experiencing pain. So pain is a gift. Basically, what pain is typically trying to teach you is to be gentler, not to be so aggressive. Again, if you want to go further, be gentler. Pain's coming, you might as well learn to cope with it, seriously. Your body will decay. Everybody's body will decay. Mine's decaying, yours is decaying. Everybody's. It's the pattern of life. And it starts in your late 20s, at least in your late 20s, and it will continue to progress. So you need to come to terms with it. You need to be able to cope with it. You need to face it and don't run to the medicine cabinet or run to drugs to hide from emotional pain. Face it. It won't last forever if you just face it. Everybody's body decays. Even top athletes, they can't stay at the top very long. Even Michael Jordan, I can see that. I remember that one game watching. You can just tell he's old. His body, he passed the point. He was in decay mode. It was obvious. It all happens to the best of us, folks. It happens to all of us that live. You see this too in men who indulge in pleasure their whole lives. Didn't get married and been playboy their whole life, and every little pleasure and enjoyment and indulgence they got involved in, no kids. Then they hit their 40s and their body's just falling apart and all the joy's gone, all the pleasure's gone, and all they're left with is misery. They can't handle it. They commit suicide. It's not the right way to go. Don't go down that path. Stay away from it. Stay away from all the indulgence and pleasures. We're going to talk about how that intensifies the pain. Again, we're always in transition. You just need to learn to transition with it, with life. And pain and decay is coming. You can lessen it, and we're going to talk about it here in a minute. It's hard for people to let go of the youth. I was at the park, and there's a man and woman. It's two separate people, two separate groups. You can just tell that they couldn't accept getting older, and they were trying to fight it. And again, it's tiresome fighting reality. Getting harmony with reality. Don't fight it. I'm getting older. I'm coming to terms. When I seen those two separately at two different times, it's like, oh my gosh, I was doing the same thing. I'm like, you know what? I accept it. I'm getting older. I'm going to do more walking, more yoga, and just, like I said, if you want to go further, be gentler. And somebody's like, well, I ain't doing yoga. That's gay. It ain't gay. Some of the best martial artists in the world are some of the most flexible. So that debunks that argument. Let go of that. Like I said, the world's already perfect. It's you that needs to change. It's you. You need to get your mind in harmony with the way life really is. Instead of this utopia, well, my body should be this way. No. This is how it really is. Your body will decay. You will have pain, and you will die. It's time for you to come to terms with that reality. This world ain't about you. Death will happen. Everybody dies. You're no exception. It's nothing personal. It's just the way it is. Accept it. It's the reality of life. Pain, decay, death are coming, so you might as well prepare for them. If you prepare for them, their power over you will be minimal. Fighting reality is tiresome. I sort of already mentioned that above. Okay, so let's talk about what makes pain, decay, and death so intolerable. Two things. There's only two things that make it intolerable. Pleasure and ego. So let's start with the first one, pleasure. Science has shown that pleasure occupies the same area of the mind. So basically what happens is, let's say all this pain is caused pleasure. When you don't indulge in pleasure, the pain ain't really that bad. But again, all opposites. You want to avoid all opposites. Again, pain, pleasure. By the degree you indulge in pleasure, you intensify the pain. So just avoid the pleasure, avoid the pain, and guess what? It'll be minimal in your life. It'll have minimal impact on your life. Again, the second problem, ego. By the degree you indulge in egotistical things, and then you have pleasurable experiences due to those egotistical attainments, when they're taken away from you as you get older, you experience some misery. I feel sorry for these people in Hollywood. They're indulging deeply in ego. Deeply, and they're increasing the pain when they're no longer famous. Nobody wants the autograph. Nobody cares. It's fading away, and it's hard on them. Avoid the misery. If you want to, like I said, if you want to avoid the miseries of pain, decay, and death, don't indulge in pleasures and ego. Yep. Basically, like I say, ego and pleasure steals your life. Oh, here's a beauty. Ego hates the idea that we're going to die. Let me close this letter. Ego hates that we're going to die. Your ego wants to find any way in the world to avoid dying. So since it really can't avoid it, it creates illusions of avoiding it. So you got the Indians, the dot, not the feather. They rebirth. Oh, you're going to be born again. No, you ain't. It's ego. Life after death. No. Ego's attempt again. It can't handle death, so it's got to make you believe something else so you can cope with it mentally. Oh, you're going to have a savior. Ain't going to happen. Technology, all technology is going to save them. Ain't going to happen. You can't avoid it. Accept it. Come to the reality that you're going to die. Your body's going to experience pain. You're going to decay. There's no running from it. Deal with it. There's nothing to live for. There's nothing to die for. Just live until you die. Now your ego has a hard time with that. That's really how life is meant to be lived. You can endure more than you think. My stepdad taught me this. His legs are bad. I mean, you see flesh, and I think one time I might even see bone. He still just keeps on going. Taught me an important lesson. You can endure a lot. I'm not saying go out seeking pain. I'm saying learn to cope with it. Learn its lessons it is teaching you. Let's see what else we got here. As you get older, you need to get smarter. That's the whole concept. If you want to have a productive life and you want to still stay relevant as you get older, you have got to get smarter. You have to get more in harmony with the essence of life. Like I said before, if you want to go further, be gentler. On the weights, when you're at the gym, lighten up on the weights. Do some yoga. Walk instead of running. Pay attention to your body. Paying attention to your body prevents a lot of pain and injuries. So that's a big one. Life is more tenacious than you think. Just because you're old doesn't mean you still don't have a lot of growing to do. Look at the trees. I mean, they're old, they big, they keep on growing and growing. Even if they got a branch that's broke, they keep on growing. Same way, just because you got a minor pain, ain't no reason the rest of the body can't grow. It doesn't mean you can't grow that area even. Work it. Just be more gentle with it. Pay attention. Try to figure out what led you, what mental states and what you did to cause that injury. Here's an old Indian saying, the feather, not the dot. What old tree doesn't have a broken branch? Then this is where I had, just because you're getting old and decaying doesn't mean you don't have a full life. Folks, pain, death, and decay are very hard for us to cope with. Very hard. But if you want a fulfilling life, there's nothing more that you need to deal with than those three things. Notice how in Hollywood they always paint when a person really doesn't fully live until they reach that bottom where they come close to death. That's when they really start living. The sooner you come to terms with death, decay, and pain, the sooner you start really living. Anyway, time's up on that. You can go to upper right hand corner. You can see the links to my blogs, ability-path.blogspot.com, which that's where this came from, the pain, decay, and death. You can do a search up in the right hand corner in that blog, and it'll take you to it. The full text of that blog will be in the information section of this video, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, go think about what I've told you, what we've talked about, and then more importantly, go live it and practice it. Bye, folks.